time for the Grace and Inspiration Podcast with Dan Nzinga.
Greetings and welcome everybody to the Grace and Inspiration Show, the Inspiration Podcast. I want to welcome everybody that's listening to us now and later. We have a great call. We have three great, wonderful guests here to speak. You're gonna get something out of it. But first, I always talk about why I call the show Grace and Inspiration. In case it's your first time. If it isn't your first time, just listen in anyways. So grace has many words, many definitions. Grace can mean um, something that you're given without deserving it. You know, God gives us grace. Something more like an overflowing cup, something very good that happens. It also can mean when you have done something, wrong and you deserve punishment, but instead you get grace, which is love, where punishment could be given and instead you're given love. That's also part of grace. Grace can also be something graceful, something smooth, grace and ease, going through life with grace and ease. So grace can mean a lot of things. And one of the reasons why I want us to, get that energy and get that feeling when you come on the call and you leave the call, you're getting grace. We have some wonderful coaches. They're professional coaches who get paid for what they do, and they're actually doing it for free. That's grace, okay? And they're being gracious, okay? Grace as well in Spanish is like a thank you, So that's the attitude, the gratitude that we want to get out of the show, and that we want. I'm thankful for these coaches for this time. I always get so much from the conversation, and it makes my life better. It's part of just pouring positivity on top of my brain every week, so I can have a great week. So that's grace that we're getting. Nobody here paid for it. You guys that are watching this haven't also didn't pay for it, and so we're just getting a lot of grace. Now, inspiration is I believe that everybody in the world can inspire other people. Because no matter where you are in life, there's somebody else that dreams about being where you are. No matter what situation you are, it doesn't matter how bad your situation. If you're in the United States, there's millions of people that are dreaming of being exactly where you are. They want to be right in that spot. Okay, so you can inspire those people no matter what with your stories. Just being yourself, you can be an inspiration to other people. And so one of my goals in life, and these coaches as well that's here, is to inspire other people to do better. And people who don't have time to be inspired, hopefully you have time to be inspiring. So if you already reached the top level and there's nobody above you that can inspire you, well, you have a lot of people that you can inspire. So show your life, do videos, do stuff. I'm always encouraging people. Your life is an inspiration to so many people, even if it's not to you or you anymore. Okay, even the guy that's committing suicide, if he looked at his life, there's so many people that wish they could be in that spot. So that's why, and that's what I want you guys to get: grace and inspiration from this call, or be an inspiration to other people. So you might hear something that, I can be an inspiration to other people. I'm going to go be an inspiration. So that's why we call the show Grace and Inspiration. And our coaches, our energy, everyone who comes on the call, this is the energy that we want to create. So always create that with grace and inspiration. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, I want to introduce my guests. And I want each of them to talk a little bit about what they do, and why I invited them to be on this call, because they're all great people that I look up to, that inspire me for all the great things they're doing. So just take like 2 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, just to say what you do, what kind of work you do, and what kind of people that you help, so people can get a sense of how much grace they're actually getting in this conversation. So whoever wants to go first, go first.
I'll go first, but first I want to thank you, Dan and Jason, for having me here. It's been a pleasure. And just having me in an audience of great people, Nicole and Camilla. Well, my name is Katasha Janos, and I'm a transformational business coach, a speaker, and a serial entrepreneur. I help leaders and entrepreneurs turn their life into stories, into powerful brands, and scale with clarity. As a result of working with me, my clients gain confidence, unlock new income streams, and finally feel aligned with the life that they're building, not just the business they're running. Let me know. Who do you know?
Yay! Thank you, Camilla or Nicole.
I'll go. Hi, my name is Nicole by Sime. I am from Haiti. Dan is my cousin. I am a life coach for children and their parents. The reason why I don't say family coach is because when I first started, I would go on a session with my client, which used to be children, and I would see their cousin, their uncle, everyone in the family, because they said, "You said it's family coach," and everybody had their own issues. So I told people when they call, I said, "I will only work with you and your child or your children. No uncles, no cousin, no other person. If there's a father, I'll work with the father separately, and then once a quarter, I'll bring everyone together." How did I start? I used to work for the Department of Children and Families as a child protective investigator. And when I became a supervisor, working behind the scene, I see a lot of the families, they pick up cases, they get in trouble because they have no direction. They have no one in their lives that they can go to ask questions or to even consult with, because we know children come without a handbook and they're doing a lot of things and they think they're doing it right. And unbeknownst to them, a case is generated, and then now they are, in the court of law. They don't know what to do. So I started talking to them. Then I see the need of the community, that they need to have someone to guide them and coach them and work with their children, because a lot of times their children get them in trouble with what they say, and people don't take the time to ask the follow-up questions. They just take what they first say and get the parents in trouble. So that's how I started with doing this. And then children not doing good in school because they're on probation, and no one wants to deal with them because they are labeled as the problem child, as the child who's not going to amount to anything. So I started working with those kids and their parents, and just to redirect them and restructure the family's lifestyle. Instead of calling them names, use the things that you see as negative in their lives to um, it will make them feel that they are empowered with something. Instead of saying they're lazy, they like to spend time with themselves, different stuff. And that has been working. And I said, I can no longer do this for free, because it was becoming so overwhelming, because I was working with so many families, and I started charging them so that I can take a break, and that did not happen. I got more clients come on board, and they all had different issues, and I was able to help them. And while I'm doing this, I had some time, I left my job, and I started writing. And then overnight, I became an author. I've written 5 women's books so far. They are all on Amazon. And I have children's book that I've also written. But those books I'm selling myself, they're also on Amazon, but I sell them with families, schools, etc. So I'm very pleased to be here. I do a lot of stuff, but most importantly, I'm a mom. I'm a mother to 5 wonderful children. I know people always say wonderful children when they don't like their kids. I really like mine. I love my kids. And Dan knows, because he's been in my life for a very long time. He knows everything. So I love my children. I have 5 kids. God blessed me with 3 children that I gave birth to, and then I adopted 2 because I was getting bored. In any event, I'm glad to be here. I love kids. If it was up to me, I'll have 12 at my house, just like my mother. So I know I went over. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, thank you. And you give everybody a good sense of who you are and what you do. And I just want to tell the audience that before that, because I've known Nicole for a long time, she was a very successful real estate agent.
I still
I
do.
remember, yeah, okay, yeah, and I remember coming from France and be like, "How did Nicole get all this money? Like, she had the big house, cars, everything, BMWs, everything." I brought a group of people from France, and we stayed at her house, her mansion, and then she more transitioned to the whole family coaching and everything like that. So I know that as far as entrepreneurship and having that mindset, she's also right there with it. So I'm happy to see her doing her thing and being successful in whatever field. You can change fields and still be successful with different things. So Camilla, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me here. Jason, great to meet you, and great to meet you as well, Katasha and Nicole. My name's Camilla Bignell, and I'm actually a business management coach, but I love to call myself a progress coach. And clients refer to me as the gentle judge, a gentle nudge, no judge coach. I'm passionate about guiding and helping the helpers, the service-based entrepreneurs, because they're really good at what they do, but they might not know the ins and outs of running a successful business. So I guide them through the unknown and what feels overwhelming sometimes. And by leveraging the right tools like ChatGPT, resources, systems, and fostering strong connections, I help create better relationships, build confidence, and streamline business operations. This approach paves the way for a clearer, more empowering, achievable, and harmonious path forward in your business so that it supports your life and not the other way around.
Wonderful,
Thanks.
wonderful. Yeah, thank you guys. Okay, so normally I jump right into the topic and the conversation because people want to hear what you guys have to say, how you guys think, all this great stuff. But last call or last time, someone said, or couple people said, you never talk about what you do. Is that like so? I'm not just a podcast presenter. I have other things too. People are like, what do you do? What's your thing? So let me give like 1 minute too of introduction for myself. So I have a dream that everybody in the world should have access to a personal growth community so that everybody can also get coaching or be around people because a lot of times we don't. Even entrepreneurs, even people who want to chase their dream, their families don't support them. We get stuck in our world. We don't have that. Having people have access, they could jump online, they can see people that they see every week or they see often, not total strangers, and they can get comfortable and be part of a community that's based around personal growth and going for your goal, going for your dream, something like that. That's my dream to have that. So what do I do is I help coaches build communities because obviously I can't reach everybody in the world. All right. I need other coaches and everybody in the world is not going to resonate with me. I could teach the same thing as Camilla, Nicole, and Katasha, and it's not going to resonate the same. I could teach exactly the same thing, say the same words. We're going to get different people because different people are going to resonate different. My examples of life are going to be different, and so I know that we can all teach personal growth. We can all be trying to inspire people, and everyone's not for everybody. So the more great people I have around me, the more this great dream can happen. So that's what I do for my life's work is to help every coach build a community, invite people to come to their community so we can grow so that before I die, everybody all over the world, if they want to, it could be 2 a.m, they can click online and go and they have access. There's a coach talking, there's something happening and they're part of that community and they feel welcome, they feel loved. And that is my thing. So what joins all of us together is that all of us here, all the people on the panel here, is that each person here believes in personal growth and believes in creating a better situation. Nicole believes in that for her. For people have their dream, they want to have a good family. They have problems. People help them. People have a business with Camilla that's not working out. With Katasha, they don't know what they want to do. Everybody that we help, we're all on the same team because we're looking to help other people find their purpose. If they know their purpose, find that dream, get it, give them a little bit of a coaching, help them get to where they are. So that's what unites us. And those are the type of people that I want to be around. And there's a lot of people in the world that are lost, like they're not sure what they want. And so I hope that anybody listening here will get something from the call. Will get something from what we say about personal growth, about going for a dream, about doing something like that. All right. Okay. So how it works, I'll just ask a question, and whoever wants to answer it, I'll just talk a little bit about it. I want to kind of unroll here is there's like a thing called the pursuit of happiness, which is like called like the American dream, the pursuit of happiness. Everyone's like the pursuit of happiness, going after your happiness, chasing your happiness, chasing it. And I contest there's a lot of people in prison that were just pursuing their happiness a little bit too hard. And pursuing your happiness could have some consequences depending on what the happiness is. And I want to shift to have a conversation between pursuing your happiness versus the happiness of pursuit, basically pursuing something just because you like pursuing, period. And then it doesn't matter what you're pursuing that thing. So why is that important? And what camp are you guys in? I'm not sure what camp you guys are in. There's a camp of you got to go for your dream, go for your goal, work hard, and there's another one. It's like be happy, do what you love, and love going for that thing. So, what camp are you guys more in? What can you speak to that idea or the philosophy? Where, how does what's the best way to be? Pursuit of happiness or the happiness of pursuit? Go ahead.
I'm gonna I'm gonna chime in and say that I think that the pursuit of happiness is kind of like chasing to me. And why would you want to chase happiness? Why can't you feel it right now? I had a mentor over a year ago who taught me that if you set an intention for how you want to feel when you achieve your goal, what can you start doing now to start feeling that way? There's no sense holding off until you get there. Start creating experiences for you to feel that feeling now.
How they're gonna get to at the end? Like, what is if you could like real quick, like what do you think people can do to feel that way?
Yeah, well, I have two tips. I would say get curious and get playful. Have fun with what you're doing. How can you turn it into a game or something meaningful so that it's more purposeful, more heartfelt? And that way you're going to feel
Right.
better about the experience.
All right,
Yeah.
audience, that's a great tip. If anybody has questions, just put it in the chat and it'll show up on the screen. Okay, Nicole.
Yes, I love what you just said, Camilla. Um, I also work in the medical field. When I'm a cancer survivor, so when I was going through cancer treatment, I lost my mind, went to LPN school because I wanted to know what the doctors were talking about me, etc. And what you said made a lot of sense. A lot of time I meet people, they said, I cannot wait to be happy when I get this new car, when I get this new job or whatnot. And I always say, you think that car, that job, that home is gonna make you happy. If you're already not happy now, no matter what you get, you're not going to be happy. So I tell people instead of waiting until it's there, is to demonstrate an attitude of gratitude. Be happy. You get up every day, you have a job, making friends, you're breathing, you can pay your bills, you're not on the street. What more do you need to be happy? A lot of people think that money is the answer, is going to make them happy. And I've been on both ends, and I can tell you, being rich, you become paranoid. Being poor, you still paranoid because you think people are talking about you because you're poor. And when you're rich, you think people plotting to kill you because you have a lot of money. So, and I've been on both sides, and I'm still paranoid. So I tell people, enjoy your life now as if it's every day should be enjoyed as if it's your last day because tomorrow is not promised. And to give you a small example, I had a client who had everything, airplanes, you name the car, the homes, every state. And he said, when I retired, I'm going to move to Florida. I'm going to be in Naples, Florida, of course, on the water, and I'm going to enjoy all my cars. Some of the cars were parked there for 2 or 3 years, and he has never sat in one of them. He came that same day. He's walking into the home, and his designer, everyone was there, and has his assistant. I was also there. He had a heart attack. He sustained a heart attack, and he never enjoyed the car. Never sat in any of the cars. Never sat on the dining room that he spent $10,000 for, and he was never happy the way he planned to be happy when he's retired. So I tell people, your day is now. Your moment is now. Embrace it, run with it. I don't agree with the right race. Don't chase money. Be happy, whether it's a dollar, whether it's $10, whether it's nothing at all. Be happy. And as long as you feel comfortable in your zone, in your area, in your turf, like you control that, that should be sufficient. Once you get involved into the competition, the I have to get this promotion, I have to get this job, I have to, because you're chasing everything because you think this is the pursuit of happiness. That's not pursuit of happiness. That's working hard, no sleep, And at the end of the day, you get nothing because that bank account is still going to be at zero. Because if you work, you make $200,000, your bill is going to be $200,000. If you make 500,000, your bill is going to be 500,000. So it's not the job that's going to make you happy. It's how you see your life, how you plan ahead, and how you view people around you. Believe it or not, if you hate everyone around you, you're never going to be happy. It's how you see your community, how you see your kids, how you like Dan. I love talking to Dan because Dan always say that he always says he's not disappointed. And at first I used to feel annoyed. I'm like, how come he's not disappointed? Somebody said they're gonna do something, they don't do it. He said it's because you put way too much expectation on that person. You expect people to be right. You expect people to do this. If you don't have any expectation, you're never going to be disappointed, and there's nothing that's going to stand in the way of you being happy. Be happy regardless of what the situation is.
Right, nice. Thank you. Kat.
Well, I want to say I can feel what both of you guys are saying. I believe the pursuit of happiness is the beginning because you have to want it. You got to get up. You got to vision something. And you have to be focused to make it. So that's very important. But I really believe if you're lucky enough, the happiness of pursuit will be where you land. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that get so caught up in the process and they arrive and they don't even know when. And that was me. Actually, 3 years ago, I remember driving to my childcare center and looking at this beautiful building that I created. To some people, that's just a childcare center. But to me, that was my baby. It was my vision. It was my purpose. And I had an opportunity to see the kids run into the school, the teachers happy to work for me. It was a beautiful day, and this chocolate girl from Brooklyn, New York became a real boss. I can pay my bills. I can look at myself in the mirror and be proud of myself. I can support my community. I can educate. And then I looked at it again and I noticed everything was different. I saw another teacher coming in out to open the door for a child and she looked miserable. I saw a child that wanted to get into the building before it's too late. And I saw a parent in her nightgown. And that moment I had to look at myself in the mirror and I had to ask myself, are you happy? Ooh, that thing shook me. I never asked myself that. Of course, I'm happy. I've arrived. I became the person I needed to be. I created the life I needed. I'm respected. I can pay my bills and I can do whatever. I go to work when I want to. But are you happy? I couldn't answer that question. And what really hurt me, Nicole, is no one ever asked me that. All the people I supported, all the people I protected and helped to get to the next level, the lives I changed in my community, even in my family. And it was then that I realized that happiness was in the moment. And I chose that one moment to change my life. And 3 years later, I'm a coach. Hope I answered the question.
My God, I'm sorry, Dan. I'm taking over. I love what you just said because a lot of times we go through it. We never stop to question ourselves, to see the reason behind it, to see, yes, I'm building, so I'm going to be happy, but what about the people that I'm going to serve? What
Mm,
about the community? Am I really doing this for my purpose to serve my community, or am I doing it for my ego just to feel like I built something
mm,
regardless of what happened? So, yes. And then when that moment comes and you realize it's not about the building, it's about the car, it's about anything, it's about being happy, it's about being a good person, it's about just questioning everything that you're doing to see if it's worth doing, if it fits your purpose in life. Before I used to be a yes, sure, I get it. Sure, I'm there. Sure, I'm gonna. Now I think twice. Am I gonna be happy doing this, or will I be happier going to a hospital, sitting into a child that's dying tomorrow, spend that time playing dominoes, playing cards, doing nothing and be happy? Or do I want to go to a ball where everybody's all stood up eating good meals? And so I think before I say yes, and I pick my decision wisely because it's no longer about chasing happiness. For me, it's my moment. I'm happy. This is it right now. This is it for me, you know.
Okay, great. So I have a question. So it kind of the conversation we're talking about happiness. Okay, so happiness and success. You can be successful, not happy, which you guys just said, and you can also be happy and unsuccessful. Or man, I don't know if you that is the definition of success for some, but you can be happy and really and not that successful in business or in your relationship. I don't know. So how do you those two things can be separate? What's the best ways that you have them together? Like, is there a method or a way that you maybe say, this is how I'm going to let Camilla go first?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's really important to be present to the fact that you have to create win-wins, not only for yourself, but for those you're interacting with. If you can do that and be mindful of that with everything you do, you're going to be happy, you're going to be successful, and you're going to help other people be happy and successful too.
Okay, so what I heard you say is think of win-win situations,
Yep.
and then with I guess whoever you're working with, and then that'll keep you happy and successful at the same time. It get
Yes, in my experience working with service-based business owners, quite often they're so happy to help other people that quite often they will do it at their own sacrifice. So they become a martyr. That's not the path to happiness. So you have to make sure that you're looking after yourself while you're caring for others.
mm, beautiful. Okay, anybody else want to speak on that? That success and happiness. How can we blend them together so that because I can have everything I want and still be unhappy because I'm scared, I'm paranoid, and then that's not good either, right?
Well,
Um, and I've experienced that. I've experienced that. I'm literally looking at the beach. I mean, I'm everything. And sometimes I'm like, my heart is beating. I'm scared. I'm like, why am I scared? You have everything you want. So that can happen. So how do help us? How do we put them together?
well,
Nicole,
Dan,
go
or
ahead, Kat.
you want Nicole?
No, no, no,
Oh,
Kat,
go
Kat.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go
Go,
ahead.
Nicole. Or
Go
she
ahead.
no. Well, thank you. Dan, happiness is a choice. Happiness is a choice. It's not a product, it's not a thing, it's not a color, it's not a source, it's a choice. And when you make that decision to be happy, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the house, it doesn't matter the clothes, it doesn't because you're enjoying, because you realize there's a lot of people that wish they had what you have. Nicole, there's a lot of people that wish they had enough information they can help families. Camille, there's a lot of people that wish that they can do something different and help a backbone of someone's community or their business, but they never had the opportunity. So I just think that happiness is a choice. Let me give it back to someone else.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with both of you. And let me say this, the biggest issue, this is why I'm so happy there are coaches to help guide some of the people who were born to be negative and never see anything positive in anything and never happy about anything. We are there to guide them and help them because we tend to associate happiness with things. You know, this
Mhm.
person must be happy. The person has a nice car. This person must be happy. This person has a nice home. Once we stop associate our how we feel about who we are, ourselves, what we're doing with the car, the home, we're gonna see that we're gonna be happy with or without it if we want to be happy. If we're not relying on this job to make us happy, this car, whatever. So let me tell you, when you think you've arrived, there is something that shift inside. I don't know what it is, but suddenly some of us become snobbish. Like we think I have money, I don't need you, and we causing more harm than we do good to other people around us because we don't have time anymore to hang with them because we don't know what they're thinking. Are they happy for me that I have money or are they planning something? So we don't hang out with our friends, we don't hang out with the people who helped us to get there because, like I said, you're so annoyed. Um, you're not really enjoying anything. You're not really happy because you just wanted to get things. You wanted to have those things and thinking with all these things, I'm going to be happy. No, with all these things, you think people are going to be happy, going to be around you. You're going to, be so and so. They're going to call you certain name because you have money. Life is not about that. Life is about living your life and be grateful for whatever it is that is on your plate. whether it's whatever or nothing, just water. Just say thank you that I'm awake, I'm aware, you know,
Amen.
I'm aware. People take that so lightly. Again, I'm in the medical field. I work with patients who need help, guidance to deal with certain stuff, to plan the burial. And a lot of them, I would have a conversation with them today about their plan. I come back tomorrow, I have to start from scratch. They don't remember the conversation. They're not aware of the surroundings. So, what are we waiting for to be happy? I always tell my husband, I we have little kids. I said, I cannot let them interfere with my happiness. I'm going to be happy whether they behave or not. Like you said, it's a choice. You have to be intentional about it to say, I want to be happy now. I don't want to wait until I'm retired to enjoy life with my husband. I don't want to wait until I'm retired to enjoy life with my kids. I want to do it now. And it's not about money. It's not about success. Happiness has nothing to do. Because have you ever seen somebody on the street with nothing and they're dancing, they're happy, they hug people, talking to you? What do they have? Nothing. They can breathe, they can talk. So once we stop associate happiness, because everybody thinks rich people are happy, they're just as miserable as everybody else because it's not the money that's going to make you happy.
Yeah. Actually, I've heard that the most miserable people are the people with so much money they don't have nothing to do. They're not pursuing anything. They're not. They're not. They don't have anything. They've topped everything. They're like, what else is there? But since we're talking about happiness, I want to give my 2 cents on how I feel you can join the two together. But before that, while you guys were talking, I remember I watched this documentary that actually helped change my life a little bit. It's called Happiness. And even this call wasn't specifically to, this podcast is specifically about happiness. But since we all started talking about it, we'll just make it that. So, and then it's a whole documentary, and it's basically a study of like 40 years, and all these countries all over the world. They interviewed so many people that had so many stories, and the question was like, what causes happiness? What brings you to be happy? And it brought it down to like three things of what is helps you to be happy. What basically what people the happiest people will say will have, right? And the first thing was community, and I may be like, okay. At the time I was watching that documentary, I was unhappy in my marriage, and I'm like frustrated, putting pressure on my wife. We're all adults here. I'm gonna say, I'm like, if she was maybe cooking more, if she was having more sex with me, she's not, and I started all this stuff. I'm blaming her. But after I watched that documentary, I was like, you know what? It's not her. And I started thinking about my past relationship. I'm like, I had all this stuff. I was still like, why didn't it work out then? Okay, so first, community, which I didn't have. I went to work, came back home. Went to work, I didn't have a community anymore. I didn't have anybody to talk to, anybody to lead. So anybody that knows me, that's like friends with me, I'm like, baby, I can't just talk to you and my 2-year-old son, and that's it. Like I need more of a life, and some people need that, some people don't. But one of the things I say that bring people happiness is even if there's a community has a little drama, it's better than being socially isolated. So the first thing was happiness. So anybody's watching here, write these down and just see if your life has them. Right, community. The second thing that they said it have is if you have a flow in your life. That means something that you're doing that you love, that you're practicing every day. Or that it might not be every day, but maybe every week. It could be going walking, playing music, going running, whatever it is. That time flies by when you're doing that thing. Time flies by. For me, it's talking and having these conversations. Like I look up, man, 35 minutes already passed by. I'm like, we just started a conversation. I want to sit here and talk for 2-3 hours. So time flies by. I like going to parties for that. I don't even drink or smoke, but I love going out because I love talking to people and having conversation, hearing what they have to say, even getting little debates. I love that. So flow, and when I played basketball, that was when I got my flow, is another thing, like being in the zone. That's the second thing. And the last thing that makes people the happiest people say is giving back to your community, giving back to somebody, giving back to the poor, charity, giving to somebody that you don't expect nothing back in return. You don't expect them to give you. And a lot of time when we're in relationship, we expect so much in return. It's hard for us to be happy because we're not in that charity. We're not in that, I'm giving you my heart for another. And I remember my first few years of marriage was so great because I was in that. I'm like, I'm going to give you my heart no matter what you give me back. And I was just so happy. And then later on, I'm like, wait a minute. It's not fair. I need something back too. And then unhappiness starts coming. So those three things, having community, flow, which is something that you're working on, and giving back to charity, if you include those things in your life, and I started saying, I'm gonna put those things in my life, I'm gonna start being part of these things, then most of the happy people have that. And I know happiness is a choice, but those three things, they do that. So my next question, I'm gonna talk about the second thing, flow, right? Finding something that you like, what I call like mastery, working on something. Because if you're in flow in something, normally you get really good at it, whether it be music, running. I was great at basketball. You find your thing, you say, okay, I'm going to do this. And hopefully it can be something you can make money off of, right? Because then you can work forever, right? Or for a long time. Then you're not looking at the clock anymore, right? You're just working because you love it so much, and time flies by. The days go by so fast. I'm like, the day just started. It's already 5. And every people are leaving. I'm like working till 8, 9 at night, and everybody, I'm like, you guys are already leaving because time flows. I love what I'm doing. So the question I'm going to ask, or the question I'm going to have is like, what are your guys' thoughts of basically like finding something that you love and just focusing on that, even if you're not making money on it? But that's one key to happiness and if you can make money on it, even better. But I feel that that's the way you can get success and happiness together, because you don't care about the success, you just care about the love. But success is going to come because you're actually good at it, what you're doing. So, what are you guys' thoughts on? I know I talked for a long time.
That's our cousin. That's our cousin. I'm gonna answer real quick because I'm not gonna be long. But before I answer your question, I wanted to second what you just said about you have to have a community. You have to have the flow, and you also have to. What's the third one? Jen?
Charity.
Give
Security,
back.
right?
Charity.
Charity. So I remember one time I was talking to Dan, and he said, "Well, you can start by donating to people you don't know, to organizations you don't know." Probably that was the day after he watched the Happiness show, and then I took his word and I started doing that. That was 5 years ago. He said, but let me tell you, the what you said about community, the flow, finding something that you love. In 2003, I was pregnant with my daughter, and I was in the process of buying another house. And my realtor, who's been my realtor since I was 20 years old, told me, "Why am I always helping you to buy your home? Why don't you get your license and start doing it yourself?" And I said, "No, I'll do it just to look at the homes, but I don't really want to be a realtor." And he encouraged me. I took his word, and I went. Fortunately, the first client I had was buying a home for $1 million. And I couldn't believe it. And that was the time where, real estate was flourishing. In 2003, I got my license in June. And let me tell you, I had my first closing in October, made a bunch of money. But what I fell in love with, I love the money. But what I fell in love with is walking into those homes, those beautiful homes, and see how they design them, how much money people put into their home, the little details. Until today, 20 some years later, I still find joy in doing real estate. My first love, the first reason why I fell in love with it was not for the money, was for the joy of talking to the clients, finding out what they want in their homes, how much money they want to spend. And I still have that same drive every time somebody calls and say, "I want to buy this. This is what I want." I can't wait to go shop for them. And I find my joy there, my peace. And sometimes I have no clients. I schedule tours because that brings me joy, peace, and just sit there and relax. So that's my life.
Okay, who's next?
I'll chime in here. Um, the important thing to remember is that as humans, we're all different. And so the Japanese term ikigai comes to mind when you talk about that, Dan. And ikigai is a Japanese concept that roughly translates to a reason for being. And what it does is it incorporates 4 different things: passion, profession, what you're good at. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a profession. Vocation, what the world needs. And then mission, what you can be paid for. And it doesn't have to necessarily be in money. But when those all meet, that is flow.
Okay, and then can you say more about that? So that's flow. So for you, flow is that success right there, or that mastery?
Yeah, yeah. This area where ikigai was developed. This is the longest living humans on Earth, and they figure that it's because they are happy with their lives. They have purpose, they have rituals, the flow, the mastery, and they have community. And so when you can fine tune each of these as your pursuit, I want to say, that happiness of pursuit, if you're working along that line in a like a continuous improvement mindset, you you can't help but be happy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what I like about that, what you said in the ikigai, I think it's from Japanese culture or something.
Yeah.
Most people will say in our culture in America, like, "What can you do for me?" That's a question. What can you do for me? What can you do for me? Right? And in the world I want to create or want to encourage people to join, I'm not creating it, but enjoying people to join is, that ask the question is, how can I make myself better? How can I recreate? How can, no matter what happens, okay, how can I use this to improve? So, and I just find when people that are focused on personal growth, they don't have time for so much drama. They might get distracted for a little bit, but I'm trying to work with you. I'm not trying to be enemies with you guys. So when something happens, okay, let's make peace, let's collaborate. Because I have a dream, and when you have a big enough dream that includes more people, the more you want peace, the more you want working together. I don't want protests in the street because I have things to do. So I want things to happen great. And a lot of times, sometimes people get out of politics because we just want to focus on our dream, and then politics like all messy and all that stuff. So I do notice sometimes, like I've been a little bit disenchanted with that whole thing. I'm like, you know what? Let me try to help people. How can I help your life better? How can you focus on your dream? Because that's what excites me. When you hear about what you pursuing your dream, how you things you couldn't do last year, you can do this year. Like I did this workout. I call it Nzinga 13. I did it in December. I have another. Okay, what can I do next year? What can I do at the end of this year that I couldn't do last year? And if we're on that track versus looking at people, oh, you're doing bad. You're doing like you're criticizing, or what can even the world do for me? Because then that sets up a question like, you can't do nothing for me. You're no good. You can't do nothing for me. I'm gonna cut this out of my life. And there's a lot of people that will say someone's not serving you, cut them out of your life, cut them out of your family, cut them out of your life, and that's a whole nother debate. But I always say, but maybe you're serving them. How can you remake yourself that you can be included in your life still, and you can still progress? Okay, how can you improve yourself? And always looking at that. So, what do you guys think about the concept of people always saying, when I gotta go cut people out of your life? That's cut everybody out. They're not good for you. What do you guys? How do you guys respond to that?
So when someone's going to tell you to cut someone out of their life, I think they're talking about boundaries. And if someone is not good for you, it's a reason. And as an entrepreneur, a leader, we always wonder like why do we have bad days, or when we get around someone, our energy shifts, and we don't know why. And sometimes because like I told you earlier, Dan, it has to do with your morals and your goals. Your goals align, your morals align. Once morals align, then you'll notice what's important to you will be important to them. And the relationships will make sense. And you wouldn't have to create boundaries because they will protect you and you'll protect them. It becomes sacred. It's so I hope I'm answering your question, but I want to go back to that first one about what can you do to get to feel happy. So the first thing I love this because this is what I found out honestly like 2 years ago. I don't know if anyone ever heard about the what is it, the five love languages. Well, if you understand the five love languages, my love language is service. I didn't understand why do I like to serve? Why do I like to give people and help people and support people? Why am I not okay with just winning by myself? Why? I've done the work. I'll even help someone else do their work to get to the top and sit with you. And I feel just as good because I found out that's what who I am. I enjoy service. So if you're feeling bad and if you have the opportunity to find out what makes you happy, let me just go over it. Words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, or receiving gifts, whatever it is, don't judge yourself. Connect that with someone else. What I found out, what makes me happy is helping. I enjoy helping more than receiving. Maybe, and if you like affirmations, give affirmations. If you like receiving gifts, give a gift. Not to everyone, to someone that's deserving, right? Because we love ourselves, right? But do whatever you like done for yourself, but give it to someone else and you will feel good. Trust me. I hope I answered your question. Back to you.
I would say, yeah, good. I'm gonna let you guys answer, but I would even say when you say give a gift, if you love give gifts, it's really a work on yourself to give a gift to someone that's not deserving. That's that's difficult to do, and I practice is when you might is one thing when I was going through my own transformation. I read in a book this guy who his teacher told him anybody who insults you give them some money. Give them, and I actually went and practiced it. So anytime you get offended at somebody, I had a bunch of dollars. I got a bunch of dollars, and I was like, I gotta give them $1. Anybody who offends, anybody I'm gonna get mad at, I give them $1. I was surprised to see, because the yeah, the idea of that, the story behind that is that this guy, he said he was trying to go into this kingdom or this place, and they said the master said you got to go and do practice that for a year. And so he went and everybody who pissed him off, he gave him money, he gave him money, he gave him money. And then later he came in the front and he was in the front. Some guy insulted him. You dog, you this, you that. And he insulted him. But this is now his time was over. Now he was about to go in. He just started laughing. He started laughing like, why are you laughing? He's like, man, I used to pay people to insult me. Now you're doing it for free. He's like, and then the master said, welcome into the kingdom. You're now ready to go. And I started practicing that. I practiced like for like a month. And you'll be surprised how quick you forget people when you have to have money in your pocket. Somebody says something like, oh, well, maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe they, because I didn't want to give them the money. So all of a sudden, I was really quick to make peace and be like, nah, it wasn't good. I think I gave like 2 times. And people won't even take it. They're like, hey, here's $1. And the person's like, I don't need your money. You're like, yeah, this is something I'm doing, and then all of a sudden you become friends, and you're like, I kind of was offended, and then the whole conversation changed. It was very, I encourage anybody to practice that. Go get like $100. You won't even spend that much. Break it down into like $1 bills, and anybody who pisses you off or anybody who annoys you, give them $1. You'll see how fast you forgive people, and and how fast you make peace with people because you're not gonna be out of money. Okay, so anyways. The point I was making. Yeah. So anybody else want to say anything about that? And we
I'm trying,
forgot
trying to
the
look
yeah.
at the chat. I see a young lady saying the real question is that what can I do for you because we haven't been designed at our talents. I'm trying to understand what she's saying. I'm just trying to read it. I just think that we put too much emphasis on the people. One of my mentors, her name is Lily Chu. I always mention her. So I've been trained by Les Brown, Lisa Nichols, numerous people. But Lisa Chu, a little Chinese girl from Taiwan, was my best mentor. And what she taught me was it starts with you. Everything starts with you. Stop looking for whatever you need outside and turn it internally and find out what you need to do. That's more inner child work. That's more developing yourself, asking yourself, why am I offended by this person? Why this person pisses me off so much? Why do I get mad when I see someone happy? That's a kind of a reflection of the universe showing you what you need. And I think, like Lee says, focus on you until the focus is on you. That's the best thing I can say.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. All right. So, all right. So we have 10 minutes left, and I'd like to save the last 10 minutes to have each of you guys really say how can people work with you, and maybe what results somebody who has worked with you has gotten. And I think that everyone's information is in the description, but just take a couple minutes, each of you guys, to kind of say how can somebody work with you, what type of person you're looking to work with. If somebody's watching, it might, they might like you, but you might not be their type of person. So, so go ahead, Camilla. You go first, if you're okay with that.
Sure, sure. Yeah, so I do one-on-one coaching. I have a group coaching program starting in the fall, and I also am teaching Chat GPT workshops because it's unbelievable how much ChatGPT has helped my clients and colleagues and friends move forward and make progress in their business to better understand people, their business, themselves, and really, move forward in a meaningful way. So I'm told that I teach it a little bit differently than most of the people out there. It's not about clunky prompts, and you don't have to be a high tech person. But I love helping the helpers, as I said before, and you can find me on LinkedIn.
Just put her name in. You can find her on LinkedIn. So, Nicole?
Yes, same thing for me. People can find me on LinkedIn. I love working with kids who are labeled kids who parents feel like there's no other option but to give up before you give up your rights, before you do anything crazy. Pick up that phone and give me a phone call, and it will work out a plan for your child. Because I believe everyone deserves a second chance, and I think our kids today are not being understood because of all the stuff that's going on in the world, and our focus is not really on them. It's on our situation, our problems, price of food, milk, etc., other than the children's needs. So I work with the children, with their parents. When I do my coaching sessions, the parents, mom or dad, has to be present, not both of them, for personal reasons, because I want to focus on what we are there to do, not arguing. So they can call me, they can go on my website, they can send messages. I work around the clock because sometimes people are in a situation where they really need help and they can't wait until tomorrow. So they can reach out to me, they can text me, call me, and I'll be there. So my information is on LinkedIn, and my website, I believe, is also under NicoleSime.org.
Tell us what a result that you've gotten from one of your clients. I'm still on with Nicole. Like, what results? I don't know if Camilla said that too, but that was part of the question. Like, what results have you gotten from your client?
Well, I,
Kat, you go on mute a little bit. Cat, it's like we can. Okay, no, go ahead. Go ahead, Nicole.
I have several. I have a young kid. I started working with him when he was 14 years old. And when I first met with him, his plan was to kill his family because he felt that he was born into a poor family. They couldn't meet his needs. They couldn't give him what he wanted, which was, the video games. And again, it's because he was listening to his peers, his kids from school, that he should have those things. And I worked with him for 3 years, and he's now their best child. So that's one of them. And one had already killed one parent and was on the verge of going to prison probably forever. And he's a happy kid now. He's not even a kid anymore. He's 20 years old. I have several families that I've helped. And again, I love working with the kids that have a lot going on because they are the ones that need the help. And I tell people, don't worry about the money sometimes because it's not. It's important because people don't value what they don't pay for. Sometimes it's important that they pay, but I work with them because I want them to get the service. It's more about them getting the service. So yeah, there are tons of stories.
Some heavy stuff. Great, but thank you for sharing that. Okay, Kat,
Thank you. I thought I'm just getting lost. I'm enjoying everything. So, like I said, I work with entrepreneurs and leaders that have
did
a.
you change your microphone? Did you move it around? Because it's like I can't hear you as well.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit better. It sounds a little bit muffled. I saw you tapping on your microphone a little
How is that? Is that better?
bit. Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So the first thing I do with any entrepreneurs, I always say, if you're going to work with me, you're going to get an automatic MBA. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on your mindset. I'm going to show you how important you are in the entire process. And then I'm going to reintroduce the new concept, mind your business. Not only a business in your house, but externally, and put yourself first. Like my Lily says, focus on you until the focus is on you. And then we're going to work on your attitude. We're going to encourage you to have confidence and know who you are. How? Simply by giving you back what you lost. As an entrepreneur, you end up losing so many things because it can be a struggle. And sometimes, like Dan said, you need community. So my offers, I have three offers. I have a coaching package, one-on-one package is an 8-week program, and I have also group counseling. In the coaching program, I help you to figure out where you are in your space and how to communicate that to an audience, to a pitch. And from that, I also give you other opportunities within my community. And the last one I just came up with, I'm so excited, is I am now creating my first retreat at the end of the year. It's going to be a safe space where entrepreneurs can come, learn, serve, and feel protected. I hope to help someone.
Yes. if you're watching this, guys, and don't know how to get in touch with them, you can reach out to me on my YouTube or wherever you're watching this, and I'll definitely put you in contact with that. And we're all part of the same team, is to help humanity become better with all these programs. So what I'm up to, because people told me, Dan, you never talk about what you're up to. One of the things I'm up to is in October, myself and Jason Wilson and my Dr. Michael Leslie, we're putting together a retreat, but around relationships. And the idea of the retreat is to come and create the relationship you want. So even if you're not in an actual relationship right now, you can come and learn about the different types of, however you go and create the best relationship for you, whatever's going to work great for you. Okay, you create that and you manifest that into 7 day experience. We call it the new life experience because you're going to basically create a new life through creating new relationships. So anybody who's interested in that, wants to be in a relationship or is in a relationship, wants to work on it, wants to make it better, all that stuff we're doing is going to be in Colombia, on this place very beautiful on the beach, Santa Marta. It's just going to be, we got the place picked out. It's going to be wonderful. That's one of the things that I'm doing. If anybody is interested in that, and of course, like I said at the beginning, I help coaches to build communities and to support them. So if you're a coach and you need some help, you need some support, just let me know, and I will do what I can. So, any final words, guys, before we end the call?
Actually, Dan, you asked for an outcome. I could share a couple outcomes with you
Yes,
with my
please.
clients. Sure. So typically, what has happened when I'm working with small businesses is they have better processes and their team gets along better. I have one client that I've worked with for 8 years. She's now charging almost 10 times more than what she started charging. But beyond that, she has a better relationship with her husband and her family because she's now got her personal time back. She's established boundaries and systems in her business. And really, that's what I love to focus on. I call it the circle of strength, and it's three different things: it's systems, tools, and people.
Mm, wonderful, wonderful. You guys have had such great results, and I've been honored to have you guys here. Any final words? Any you guys want to say?
Thank you for having me, and thank you, ladies, for I learned so much from you. And I got to stay in touch with you, ladies, especially Janice. She has this energy, like she's into it. She feels every word. She wants you to know that it's you have to be intentional about everything you do.
It's
And
passion. It's,
yes, and
and I'm trying to hold it back. Trust me, 'cause I know it's a panel. Trust me, I'm
I
wrapping
love
up
it because
everything so I don't. But it's not that I really love what I do, and I love
that's
people,
good. That's
and I
good.
didn't always have the support that I needed, and I still made it. And if I can help one person not have to go through what I went through, so be it.
Then you've done your part.
That's
Yeah,
my happiness. That's my pursuit, and I'm giving. So you see, that's my high. Contact me, girl. I got
I
you.
love it. I love it. I'm gonna
Well, thank you
continue.
guys. Well, thank you everybody for coming, and thank you for being here and sharing this hour with me. People that were watching, thank you for watching the show, and I'll see you next time on the Grace and Inspiration Podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching the Grace and Inspiration Podcast with Dan Nzinga. See you next time.